So I talk a lot of shit about leftist politics on this channel, and it's because I think they are nonsensical and dangerous. But I always have some disconnection from them. It's always happening in some other city or some other university. It's never happening right here in front of me, so I can only comment on it peripherally. But the other day, everything hit pretty close to home. A local magazine dedicated one of its issues to Charlottesville and people's responses to it. The article is from a local Black Lives Matters chapter and is entitled, "White People, Here Are 10 Requests from a Black Lives Matters Leader." Immediately, you've lost me. Your tone already, just in the title, is condescending. White people, or your first two words, which immediately groups all white people under the same umbrella, and you've already shown your proclivity for identity politics in the first two words of your title. Get out of here. And she calls them 10 requests. You'll see these aren't really requests, but rather demands. Let's go through them together and see if we can keep it together. Number 1, white people. If you don't have any descendants, will your property to a black or brown family, preferably one that lives in generational poverty. Number 2, white people. If you're inheriting property you intend to sell upon acceptance, give it to a black or brown family. You're bound to make that money in some other white privileged way. We're too in. Fuck you. We're too in, and you continue to be condescending. And I know part of it is maybe you're just poking. It's fun to poke, and maybe you like to upset white people. Maybe you get off on that. Let's just move on. Number 3, if you're a developer or realty owner of multifamily housing, build a sustainable complex in a black or brown blighted neighborhood and let black and brown people live in it for free. White people, if you can afford to downsize, give up the home you own to a black or brown family. White people, if any of the people you intend to leave your property to are racist assholes, change the will and will your property to a black or brown family. White people, rebudget your monthly so you can donate to black funds for land purchasing. White people, especially white women, get a racist fired. Y'all know what the fuck they be saying. They are complicit when you ignore them. Get your boss fired because they racist too. What? What? Like, this is the point where it starts to sound satirical. And I sent this to multiple people, and they were like, dude, I'm pretty sure this is satire. And I had to prove to them that it's not. Backing up number 7, this should be easy, but all those sheetless Klan Nazis and other little dick white men will all be returning to work. Get they ass fired. Call the police even. They look suspicious. What the fuck are you even talking about? Like, are you trying to be funny or are you trying to make a point? Because you can do both, but you're not succeeding at either one. Backing up number 8, if any white person at your work, or as you enter in spaces and you overhear a white person praising the actions from yesterday, first, get a pic. Get their name and more info. Hell, find out where they work. Get them fired. But certainly address them, and if you need to, you got hands. Use them. Okay, now this is directly advocating violence. Maybe you're doing it in a cheeky way using your vernacular, but you're still telling someone to use their hands against someone. How is this okay? Commit to 2 things. Fighting white supremacy where and how you can. This doesn't mean taking up knitting unless you're making scarves for black and brown kids in need. And funding black and brown people and their work. Hashtag run us our land, reparations, you gon' learn today, run us our money. Now, pretty much all these can be condensed down into one point. Give us your shit. And if that wasn't enough, she has her Venmo linked at the bottom of the article. So you can just go ahead and just give her some more money. What is she going to use that money on? Well, it doesn't really matter because apparently all property or wealth that you have was gained illicitly through the oppression of a black person, so whatever she uses it on is better than you having it. Hey, you want to show how much of a racist you aren't? Then line my pockets. Now, her method of thinking in this is not uncommon. It's pretty much par for the course now with this sort of ideology. Here's another video I saw recently that has some similar stuff in it.
All white people are racist. So I put this up because I really want any white person in the room to know up front that this is what we're dealing with, that it's not going to be this coddling of white tears and what that looks like. We're not going to discuss, oh, maybe some of us have worked it out. No, you're always going to be racist, actually. So even when you're on your path to trying to figure out how to be a better human being, because I believe that white people are born into not being human, like that actually instead of people of color and black folks being dehumanized, that actually everyone is dehumanized off rip within white supremacy, that y'all are born into a life to not be human, and that's what y'all are taught to do, to be demons. So in this particular way, white people are all racist. So I just want y'all to know that up front.
So the formula here seems to be act like an asshole and then beg for money. Every bit of this is just patently absurd. You're not even actually putting forth an argument, like a well thought out, cogent point. All you're doing is making demands based upon nothing. Not to mention that this is supposed to be a response to Charlottesville. Like maybe it could have been a reparative thing or a unification sort of thing. But no, this is what we get instead. There's also another article in this issue that encourages black people to arm themselves, to protect themselves from all the racists and white supremacists that are hiding around every corner waiting to kill them. So now we have fear-mongering in here as well. These are really great tactics. I wasn't even going to look into this person any further because what I saw in this article was enough. But my buddy sent me a screen cap from her Facebook page. Here she says, "White women have gotten on my nerves already in 3 different states." Oh, what a coincidence. You're fucking getting on my nerves right now. And here, well, let me get back to where I left off. White women ain't shit. Ah, yeah, I love it. A little casual racism for your day. You know, it must be awesome. It must be great to be exempt from racism because you're black. It must be so great to think that reverse racism isn't real. It must be so awesome to live in such a small-minded bubble. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this shouldn't have been printed. It should have, and for multiple reasons. Number one is that free speech is the single most important value that we must uphold. Everything else is built upon that foundation. And I will defend her right to say these things and defend the Leo's right to print them, no matter how much I disagree with them. Number two is that you want to hear the opposition's argument. You want it to be out in the open so you can see how ridiculous it is. And so you can then form an argument against it. And also, when you silence speakers, when you deplatform people, that's not a victory for you. You're not disempowering their argument. You're just driving them underground to where they fester and they attract more people who are curious about what they're going to say. You want these people in the public eye. You want them to be in the spotlight so you can scrutinize and systematically break their argument down. Now, considering that Black Lives Matter is sort of a decentralized movement, there's no one leader or there's not even like a panel, a group of people. It's hard to know exactly what everyone within Black Lives Matter thinks. But when you repeatedly have people like this as your leaders, these are the voices for your movement. And if there's any validity to your movement at all, which I'm not even sure there is, it is lost because you have these foolish people at the head spouting demands, being completely condescending, and advocating violence. If you want anyone to actually listen to you, you're going to have to present an argument. You're going to have to, put something coherent together. But if these are the best people that you have, then no one should be listening to you at all.